Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Remember Me Daily Readings for Lent. And I think today is going to be a short episode, but we'll see how it goes. Um, Let us read the reading for Monday after the fifth Sunday of Lent. Meditate for a short space on God's love as shown in the example of Christ Himself gives us of the prodigal son. He takes his whole fortune, leaves his home, and gives himself up to the dissolute life, squandering his money, and when reduced to beggary, sinks to the level of the swineherd. Roused to the reflection by his misery, he resolves to return home, and his father, on seeking this wreck of humanity, at once recognizes him, acknowledges him as his son, weeps over him, loving him as before, and restores him to his old costume and position. He is well dressed, feast and delicacies, music soothe him. Friends are invited to meet him. For I have got my son back again, says the loving father, the one who was lost. There is no graceful parable but a truth. Oh, this is no graceful parable but a truth. It is thus a sinner really is with regards to God, his Father. Rouse yourself, therefore, you who are groveling in self indulgence. What are you doing? This is not a hard saying, but a merciful one. The way will be hard during the return journey to God, but what will be your reception? Love. And that a love that gives you all its best. This is by Saint Alphonsus Liguori. Do not let us be ashamed of flight, or flight from the world is not a disgrace but an honor. This is by Saint Ambrose. So yeah, thinking about the prodigal son, God is the father in this parable. The prodigal son, God celebrates when we return to Him, and this really is just a reminder to everybody out there. If you're living in a life of sin, if you've left the church, you've done all this stuff. I know you hear it all the time, but almost to the point to where it's a meme. But God loves you, and God doesn't want you to be out there doing that kind of stuff. God, God, God created you. God loves you. You have more worth than what you are, right? He is your father, and He will graciously accept you back. God will not, God will not viciously punish you. You know, I know people want to talk about when this will bring up purgatory. What about that? But that's in fairness, right? This is all in fairness, and that's the stuff that we have to do. These are in purgatory. They're temporal punishments. Sometimes our soul needs to be purified because we don't love God as perfectly as we should, right? So it's not as though God says, well, you gotta, sorry, but you gotta make up for me or whatever. Like, it's not that. It's just we are not perfect, right? We have to love God to the perfection that He loves us. That's what purgatory is for. But God rejoices when you come back. God rejoices when you leave the world and you come back to Him. And remember, like, it doesn't matter. I think I've said this before, but I'll bring it up again. Some people are like, oh, how will God accept me because of all the bad things that I've done? And it's this, guys. It's this. God loves you, and there isn't a sin so big that He can't overcome. I know this by personal experience, and to anybody out there who's on the fence of coming back to the Catholic Church, who believe that when they pass through the doors of the church, that they're going to fry, or they're going to burn, or you're not going to burn. God doesn't do that, right? God's not gonna. You're not that. You're not so sinful that you will burn. Redemption is still there for you, waiting for you, and God is there waiting for you in every Catholic church, with His arms wide open, hoping that you return. God loves you, and like I said, there isn't anything. There isn't anything so big that he can't forgive. So if you're on the fence about this, I will tell you as an invitation, somebody, a lost Catholic wandering in the valley that is the world and stuff, the evil valley, the valley of death that is the world. I say to you, please come back. We were welcoming you. Not just God was welcoming you with open arms, but I am, right? If you wish to reform and to return home, God is there waiting, and we all are there, and we're all rooting for you. So if you haven't done that, if you're on the fence about that, really come back home. This is not just God asking you to do it, but me. Come back home. We don't bite, so, and even if you left the church, God is forgiving, and I know this by personal experience that God is very forgiving and very loving. So don't be scared to come back to church. Don't be afraid of God in that sense that you're like, I can never ask forgiveness because God hates me. No, God doesn't hate you. God loves you, and then He wants to see you back home. So all you lost sheep out there, please come back home, and we'll be praying for you. So, like I said, this is a shorter episode. So, with that being said, hope you guys' Lent is going well. And until next time, take care and God bless.